It is 91 days till the man burns, and today we're talking about what to bring to Burning Man in a face painting kit. Whether you want to just make your campmates look wonderful, make yourself look wonderful, or you want to gift it to other people. And of course, for this kit, you want to keep in mind how many people you're planning on face painting. You know, if you want to gift it to people, you're probably going to need a bigger supply of face paints. And if you're just planning to do, you know, small accents on you and your campmates, you'll probably need less. So obviously you will need some face paints, and there are many different types of face paints. I will put together a video on kind of the best face paints for Burning Man, or my opinion on the best face paints for Burning Man. But I imagine a lot of you will either be going for like cream paints where they are already liquidy, they can be quite a good choice, or water activated ones. They are also quite a popular choice, but obviously you need to mix them with a bit of water before you use them. If you're just planning on doing kind of small accents and designs on people, I would suggest going for just a small palette, because, you know, you're not trying to cover large areas. Like these larger ones, you can do like whole bodies, you can make a whole person purple. So if it's just for you and your campmates, you'll probably be fine with a small palette or a couple of palettes. I mean, really, you just want to make sure that you have enough paint to do whatever it is that you want to do. You don't kind of want to get to day 2 and realize that you're running out of face paint and you've been really enjoying being painted or painting other people. And bear in mind, it can get a bit expensive to get the big cakes. So you could always go for a combination as well of a basics palette just for your basic colors, and then just getting a few big ones of colors you think you're going to be using a lot. You'll want something to apply the face paint with as well, and I would avoid using anything that you like. So things like makeup brushes, expensive sponges, that kind of stuff, I would leave that at home and go for kind of, you know, cheap paint brushes. You can buy these in multi-packs. You can get ones that are specifically for face painting, but I mean, some of my favorite brushes are just literally from a pack where you get like 5 brushes for £1. The only thing you're watching out for is just make sure that they aren't really terrible quality where the hair's falling out, because, you know, that would be a waste of money. So don't feel like you need to spend a fortune getting brushes and things like that, because you don't. I use a lot of like the wedge sponges as well, but you can just buy, you know, cheap sponges from the supermarket or pharmacy and just cut them up. They're gonna work as well. And you can get different textured sponges to, you know, do textures and things like that. You know, just have a look around in like pharmacies and stuff and see what you can find that would work well and not break the bank, because chances are it's going to be ruined after Burning Man. If you are not particularly artistic, or even if you are really, bringing along stencils can be a good idea, because it's just going to let you very quickly apply the face paint, because you probably don't want to be sitting around for ages doing all the designs, especially if you are gifting them, or you are, you know, you have a large camp and everyone wants it done. If you have stencils, you can very quickly at least lay down the basis for your designs and then just add a few accents. So keep your eye out for nice stencils, or you can make your own. I'll try and do a video on how I make my stencils for face and body painting. It also means that other people are able to do it on themselves. If you are like the only artistic one in your camp, then having stencils will make it easier for other people to paint their faces if you are not around, or you don't feel like doing it at that moment in time. If you're using the water activated paints, then obviously you need water to make them work. And what I do is I just have a spritzer bottle and I just spritz the top of the cake, and that activates it. But some people prefer to just have a cup of water that they dip their brush in and then dip into the cake. It really kind of depends on, you know, what you're doing, how many people you're painting, what kind of things you're painting on them. So if you get like water activated paints and stuff, it's worth messing around with them a bit before you get to Burning Man, just so that you're familiar with how to use them, how to activate them, and you figure out just what works best for you, whether you prefer to spritz, whether you prefer to like dip and dip. Bringing along a plastic mirror is a good idea. You don't want to bring along your glass one, because there is potential for that to smash, and people will probably want to see, you know, what you've painted on their face. So you can get plastic ones. It's what a lot of face painters use if they face paint at children's parties and things like that, because, you know, you don't want kids holding a glass mirror because they might smash it. And smashing a mirror at Burning Man is, you know, it's bad news. Not only is it 7 years bad luck, you've just like mooped all over the floor, and it's sharp, painful moop that's incredibly difficult to clean up. Depending on which face paint you go for, you might want to bring along some setting spray. Some are very smudgy, they, you know, rub, they transfer onto clothes, and a setting spray is just going to help make them last longer. It creates a barrier over the top. In most cases, unless you shell out for a really, really good setting spray, the setting spray isn't going to kind of make it absolutely touch and smudge proof, but it will help. So it's worth considering, especially if you're planning to do very large face or body painting, if you want to cover large areas in, you know, colour, then a setting spray is just going to help that to last a bit longer. If you or anyone that you're painting has sensitive skin, then it might be worth bringing a barrier spray along as well, and that just creates a barrier. You spray it on before you put the face paint on, and it creates a barrier between your skin and the paint. So it can be really, really helpful for anyone that has sensitive skin. I use it quite a lot because my skin gets sensitive, and sometimes when I body paint, I end up going a bit red afterwards. Because some of the paints I use are just not the most skin friendly, and barrier spray can really help with that. You'll obviously want something to bring all of your stuff in, and obviously that depends on what exactly you're bringing, you know, how many brushes, how many paints, whether you're getting palettes or cakes, whether you need extra things to make your paints work, stencils, like whatever you're bringing, it's easier if you can keep it all housed in one single place, so that when you want to paint someone or you want to paint yourself, you're just grabbing that bag and everything you need is in it. So my absolute favorite kind of bag is something like this one. It's just full of like Sharpies, there's a stencil in there and some sticks. Obviously I'm not using this for my face painting gear, it's all there behind me. But this bag is great because it is waterproof. So if anything happens, if anything spills, I am not worried about it, you know, getting onto anything else. And also it's see-through, so it makes it very easy. If I need a specific thing, I can just see where it is and grab that thing. So if you're planning to buy a new bag for all your stuff, I would go for something that is kind of plasticky and waterproof. Toiletry bags are great as well. Some makeup bags can be good, some not so good. It's really, I'm always looking for like waterproofness, because you can see kind of, I don't know if you can see, because you can kind of see my bag has got a load of like face paint residue in it and stuff where things have leaked and smudged. Because when you're using your brushes, if you don't clean them straight away and throw them back in the bag, obviously all that paint is like just transferring onto everything. I really should clean this. For your brushes, I would suggest some kind of pencil case. If you can get like a waterproof one, that's great, because then they're not just kind of rolling around in there with all of your paints, because it can really mess up the ends. And if you've been painting with them and you haven't cleaned them off properly, which happens quite a lot at Burning Man, because, you know, you're kind of like, okay, I'm done, let's go on an adventure. You're not like, let me just clean my brushes for 20 minutes. So having a pencil case just kind of minimizes how much of a mess they're making. Another great thing with the waterproof ones is they're very easy to clean. You can just baby wipe the inside or give them a wash, put them in the sun for a bit to dry, and they're clean. With the fabric ones, it's, you know, a much more involved process. If you are worried about, you know, cleaning your brushes and contamination and health and safety type stuff, bring along some like alcohol, rubbing alcohol, not your vodka. Like 70%, 90%, 99.9%, they are great for just kind of getting the bacteria off of your brushes. I don't think it's foolproof, I don't think it gets everything off, but it is a good start, especially if you're going to be gifting face painting and painting like many people. It is a good idea to have some kind of way to clean your brushes, whether that's just a cup of water that you're going to swish it around in, and maybe a towel that you can run the brush on to get the excess colour off, or whether you want to do the whole cleaning and then alcohol sterilisation. So for kind of on the fly cleaning, having a tea towel or some kind of old towel that's very textured that you can run the brush on is a pretty good way of cleaning them. So you might want one of those in your kit. And you probably already have a supply of baby wipes to just keep yourself clean and stuff, but you will want some way to remove the face paint probably. So most of these paints do come off with just soap and water, but you know, it's not quite as easy to really wash your face and stuff at Burning Man. You know, not like to soak it and soap it and soak it again. So you're probably going to be using baby wipes, makeup wipes, and just be aware of kind of how big the designs are going to be, because obviously if you paint your entire face blue, you're going to need quite a lot of wipes to get that off, compared to if you're just painting like some accents on your face. You might also want to bring along some skin cleansers, things like that, to just give your skin a good clean after you've been wearing the face paint, because sometimes it can cause breakouts. Sometimes you just feel a bit sticky once you've taken it off, and you just kind of want to give your face a really good clean and make sure your skin is like nice and fresh and lovely. Avoid bringing things like little embellishments, like little stick-on things or glitter or gems, stuff like that, because they're very hard to keep attached to your face. They tend to fall off. I mean, especially glitter, that's just going to end up everywhere. It is banned at Burning Man because it is so moopy and it's so hard to clean up. And I'm pretty sure the, you know, jewels, like stick-on jewels and stuff, I don't think they're banned, but they do kind of have a tendency to fall off, especially if you overuse them. You know, if you just have a couple on, then, you know, maybe you'll be okay. But if you're putting like tons on, there's a lot more chance that some of them are going to fall off unnoticed, and then it's moot. And it's really your responsibility to pay attention to things like that, to not have things that have the potential to turn into moot, and to pick them up if they do fall off. But if you absolutely have your heart set on having some kind of like embellishment type things, I would not necessarily rely on like the stickiness of them that's already on. I mean, maybe test them at home to see how well they stay attached, because often they stay quite well attached for the first like maybe hour, but a couple of hours down the line, especially when it's very hot, when your skin is kind of covered in sun cream or face paint or something, they tend to unstick themselves. There is a special type of glue called spirit gum. You do need a remover because it leaves a residue on your skin. This is a very strong skin-safe glue that is used for attaching prosthetics. It's kind of the cheapest in the special effects industry for attaching prosthetics to people, like special effects prosthetics, like fake noses and stuff. So I would suggest, if you do plan on using the kind of embellishment type things, that you have a very strong glue with you to attach it, and that obviously you have a remover so you can get the glue residue off. You just have much more chance of it staying put if you use a very decent glue. But realistically, I would just avoid that stuff or keep it very, very minimal. So that's it, guys. I hope this was helpful. If any of the rest of you have any things that you think should be in a face painting kit, let us know in the comment section below. And if you see me at Burning Man this year, feel free to come and say hi to me. Bye, guys.